Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. As we get older, there's a couple of things that happen for the first time, and I think that for me, recently, it's been my health. And I wanted to talk today about how to deal with decision making, diagnoses, things that we are hoping for answers to that are positive. And I know a lot of you are facing this yourselves with various illnesses and situations, not just medical. But when we were younger, we kind of waited for that phone call from somebody that we liked, or as we got older, we thought about getting that phone call or email now from a company that we want to work for. So job rejections, people rejections. We kind of braced ourselves, and I can remember that just waiting for stuff. And I know that it's a good value to work on. And I know my grandkids, for example, my son and his wife are very much into that. And with Jack as well, it's really okay to wait. It's, things are going to be there for you. Just take your time, don't panic. But I bet waiting's hard. Waiting is really hard every time, but it's also particularly hard when you've got a health diagnosis. So I'll talk about my situation, and I want to share an article by Becky Cohen Vargas. Now, Becky was dealing with cancer some years ago, and I don't know whether this article was kind of sponsor or inspired by that situation. But my own situation is, of course, you will know I was in the hospital a few weeks ago for a liver problem. And, they didn't know what was wrong. And so I went through endless tests. And it was, I'm sure a lot of you go through this. Doctors are not magicians, right? They just work on data. They just work on data from blood tests and MRIs and CT scans and CT scans. So, there was a moment where I had to have a liver biopsy. And the results from that were going to be either really bad, like I'm going to have to deal with something for all my life, or like, okay, we got ways to deal with this, or nothing happening. And of course, for me, it was somewhere in between nothing happening and we've got medicines to deal with this, because we still don't really know, but we think had an answer. But the waiting was so hard for me. It was the first time in my life that I had to wait for a diagnosis. I know that's ridiculous at 75. I'm so grateful that I've never had this experience when I was younger. But yeah, I never had to wait. So it was, and what did I do? Oh, I read books, I walked around my room. I got out a lot. I walked a lot outside. I got on the train. I just took long train journeys. I walked around the shops. I went into bookstores. I did a lot on my feet. I didn't sit at home. And maybe that's how you did it as well. Becky is actually waiting. She says that she's writing this. So yes, I guess it must be this roller coaster of feelings that she's having, knowing her background with cancer. But waiting for a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis, a health report is so difficult, and it's really multi-leveled. You've got, like, first of all, the pain or the symptom, and then you've got your first doctor's appointment, and you've got blood tests, and you wait for that, and then you wait for a follow-up appointment to discuss the blood test, and then you've got maybe some follow-up test like a CT scan or an MRI or something else. You wait for those results, and then it's a holiday weekend, so you've got to wait the weekend to get your results. It's a process. And I know that we have some women in our 60 and Me community who are dealing with very complex medical issues, and that's what they're facing. Test, waiting. Biopsy, as I mentioned, you got to wait for the biopsy results. So, then you say to me, worry? Well, no problem. But you have something to worry about now. Back in the day, it was like, is John going to call you? Well, I'm going to be heartbroken if he doesn't call me, but whatever. He's just a person, and there'll be many others, and there were. But, at the time it was like, oh my gosh, if you're speculating about the outcome and worrying about the outcome, you'll never rest. You'll never have peace. So you've got to try to stay neutral. And that's in all waiting situations, waiting for a job response, waiting for a sale to come in if you're selling something, waiting for a deal to close, all kinds of things, waiting for your marriage, whether it's going to survive, whether you've got this issue you're trying to deal with, waiting for the outcome. But if you worry about the outcome, not only will it probably or possibly not happen, it may just, not be important. It may not have even happened at all. So how do you deal with it? Well, Becky gives some good advice from someone that's been through this. And I hope you're okay, Becky, if you're watching this and letting me share this. You wrote it in an article for 60 and Me, so I don't want to, what you've said is what you've said. So I don't want to add any words. But the first thing when you're dealing with a diagnosis of some kind or waiting is to stay neutral. I mean, we've got so much access to information now that it's really kind of scary, because even when I was in the hospital, I was chatting online, what's the symptom of this? What should I be looking for that? It's just natural. You want to be informed. And ChatGPT and all the AI, they've got names of books and publishers and papers. You can read endlessly about the thing that might be on your mind. But it's challenging. But, try to be neutral and calm, and know that 95% of the time, maybe even 99, it's not going to happen. Or if it does happen, it's going to be manageable. And I think that's one of our strengths as older women. Okay, I'm going to get a diagnosis. In my case, it could be very bad. It could be very bad. It could be, it could be worrying. It could be nothing. So that's your thing as well. So what do you do? Take up a whistle while you wait, says Becky. Do things that occupy your time. For me, I did coloring. That's another thing. Other than walking around, I did coloring in the early morning, because I wake up really early, 5 o'clock, and I would always do like an hour of coloring. There was something about it that just really, really calmed me down. I love color, and I love the painting, and I'm useless at free form, so I just would color. Other things, knitting, of course, reading books or audiobooks. People sometimes find that super soothing. Binge watching favorite movies. I did some funny ones like Blackadder and Monty Python, like British humor, but they tend to take your mind off of things. But walking out in nature, there's all kinds of solutions. What have you done? If you're facing some kind of a waiting situation, what kind of techniques have you used? I'd be really, really interested to share. And in the comments, by the way, if you want to share a situation that you're going through, like something that you're waiting for, and you need a little bit of a hug, or you just need, just something to ground you, then just let us know. And you'll be surprised how many people will jump in. Just say, I need help, guys. I need a hug. And you'll be surprised how many people in the comments virtually give you a hug. So there's some processes of how to tell people about what's going on. Like, you don't want to just reveal everything in the comment section, and in fact, don't do that, because if you have a full name as your identifier, and then you put a very personal story, I always delete those, because I've from bitter experience, sometimes things on the website are seen by people that you don't want to see it. And so please don't be too personal. If your full name is there, if you just made up, pink flower or something, that's okay. You can say anything you want. We'll listen. So first of all, who to tell and when. At the beginning, it might be really good to just tell one person or two people. If you want to tell anybody, you might not want to tell anybody. But if you do want to tell someone, just tell one or two really close friends. Now, I actually jumped into this crazy when I went to the hospital. Because I am who I am, and I do what I do, I actually told the community 60andMe almost right away. And I didn't say what was going on then. I mean, later on, I've explained more in the Patreon group. But, I didn't tell the whole story, because I'm in the hospital having some tests. And I got, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of comments and positivity, which was so helpful for me, because I don't have a lot of close friends in Switzerland. Well, I don't have a lot of close friends in my life. You might, honestly, use community is a big part of everything. But I went to that kind of extreme. But Becky says, don't do that in your own personal life. Sometimes, if you want to, you can. But but when people are sending you emails and wishes, good wishes, you can't answer them all. And for me, I'm fortunate, because my questions came on YouTube, and I could just give a heart or a little comment. But those emails can be overwhelming. Hope. Keep hopeful. It's a state of mind. It's a way of being, just remaining hopeful, positive, and give yourself healing love. It will make all the difference. You can handle tough stuff. What is it? Hemingway said, grace under pressure. You can do this. Research. Be informed, but don't go crazy. Not everything's going to be the extreme negativity. Just look up things that are specific. Like, for example, what foods are good for liver health. Those are kinds of useful things. And, use all the resources you've got online to be educated. Look at, is there a book that's been written about the gut microbe biome, which I'm fascinated by what you eat. But, those kinds of things, you can just help. You can be helped by AI and other online IAs like Google. Google's an AI. That's all it is. It's just it's an AI that takes you to websites as opposed to a search engine that takes you to answers. This is the way that I look at it. But by the way, Google's all sponsored ads. So if you ask for travel to Portugal, you're going to get all the ads that have paid Google to be placed first in your list, and that doesn't happen in other search engines. So just a reality check there. Anywho, technology group briefing. But anyway, what are you waiting for now? Is there something in your life that you're waiting for? Maybe it's the sickness of someone else. I didn't even mention that. Like if you've got a partner or a child in your life or a friend who is dealing with a serious illness, maybe that's what you're waiting for. Maybe you're waiting for some result to come in from a financial investment, or, there's all kinds of things that could be you're waiting for. So what are you waiting for? How are you dealing with it? Are you making the waiting easier to bear? Thank you, Becky, for this inspiring conversation. Hope that you're doing well, and take good care of yourselves, everybody. Let us know how you're doing with the waiting game. Okay, take care.